I'll try to go next to the water. I don't know if I'll be able to like get shots from there. 7 degrees gun depression. With a small gun arc. I don't know. A little bit like more gun arc would be tremendously helpful. Look how small it is. This is all it moves. So most of the times you're gonna have to like move the whole tank. It only goes like this much. Kinda weird. Kinda expecting these Pepegas to push me down. Penetracja. He did 589, it did 739. Nice RNG. Oh, I forgot to report those Pepegas from the previous game. Whatever. Whatever. Gotta see if I can pen under the gun. Didn't really work. Open pen is third ring. I mean, it's a small chance to pen him. I can maybe pen him, but oh. You gotta do something because all the team is here. So I gotta push somehow. I can do some high explosive on the top of his turret. It worked. Let me try to shoot a 60p maybe. No. I got TDs in the back. Probably not a good idea. But I could try to go above them maybe and shoot. Even though all these guys are low HP. What's the gold then? 320. It's a very small difference between standard and gold, unfortunately. It's only like 30 extra penetration. Huh? Ah, come on. Jesus. It's not a very good tank to like brawl with, you know? It really isn't. Just like with the tier 10 WZ tank, it's not a very good tank to brawl with. Only if you get to fight some like bad enemies, like look at the gunner. Other than that, it's not a good tank to brawl with. It sucks at brawling, man. It doesn't have what it takes for brawling. I push in so I can shoot too. Okay. What a bit big on this guy. I see you. 277 is not helping me for some reason. It's not a good tank at brawling. The lack of turret and the lack of gun arc makes it pretty inflexible. The only good thing about brawling wise, I guess, that it's fairly mobile. But other than that, kind of get my ass whooped by tanks with this bird. Hello, Quasi. Someone's gonna sit in the back and do nothing again, right? He's being so passive the entire game. Yeah, cover my ass. He's been super passive all game. If I didn't pull the move, you know, flanking the Yak Panzer and the AMX, would have been dead. Would have lost. I think they replace bond stabs with experimental for us. Nope. Got a snap, but it didn't work. He's gonna go up there and I thought he's gonna go in the bush, but he's not doing it. Weird. Okay. Didn't get spotted. I wanna get close. Weird bounces. It's gonna get clipped by the flush now, isn't it? Go forward, go forward. Go forward, Pepe. He got fully clipped. Yeah, he got fully clipped. Cheeky bricky. Well, let's make like a little recap of this tank, right? Let's make a little recap. As it stands, I believe it's a good tank. It's a very balanced tank. It's a very fine line, you know. With a couple of changes, this tank could either be very bad or broken. So it's at the limit, you know, of being balanced. Right? Closest thing I can compare it with is the WZ-113 PD. It fights the same, it's a little bit faster than this one, right? But like gameplay wise, both tanks, you play them the same. Try to get up close and try to use the gun. Yeah. So gameplay wise, these two tanks are very similar. The Blyskawica, I guess, is a little bit more agile, and obviously the gun is better. It doesn't take much coming from the Visa. So overall, the tank is balanced. What I don't like is the huge difference in damage on this tank. Like, it adds crazy RNG, crazy randomness, doing 800 damage at 50 meters, which is basically proxy spot distance. You gotta be like in front of the tank. Up to doing 300 meters at 500 distance, and I'm guessing the further you go the distance, the less damage you'll do. So I do not like that difference, that huge difference in damage at all. Yeah.
A TD with insane shell velocity that can snipe but penalize that with less damage. You can hit tanks easier, but there's a price to pay. You get rewarded for getting stuck in where you're vulnerable. Would have been up as a 750 uplu that velocity other.
Yeah, nice timing, Basin. As I was saying, I don't like this mechanic at all. I would love it, you know, this is still the test server. I would love it if they would make some tweaks and reduce. Like, I think optimum would be if they would reduce the alpha damage to like 700. Not just 50 meters, let's say up to 100, 150 meters. 700 alpha, I think that'd be great. and then reduce the damage at 500 meters, let's say 500 alpha damage. So it wouldn't be such a huge discrepancy in damage, right? Because as it stands with this tank, and I've been playing it today, you're either gonna get very low damage games or you're gonna get very high damage games. It's like absolutely all over the place. It's all over the place. Very situational, very random. And don't forget that on top of the damage randomness based on distance, the plus minus 25% on damage also applies to this, right? So yeah, it's like play the lottery kind of tank. Not a big fan of this massive RNG gun. No. Overall, though, the tank is balanced. I don't know what else to say. I can't speak for the rest of the line because it's test server and there's not a lot of people online, so we can't play the lower tiers. But I like the tier 10. It's a balanced tank. Yeah. I think it's not a tank I would recommend to the average players or bad players because they will struggle a lot with this. It's not an easy tank to play up close because lower plate is not very armored. And the gun angle is super small, so most of the times you're gonna have to like move the whole tank to shoot. You can't just like move the gun. So I think this will definitely be a tank in which tryhards will play a lot, you know, for that potential DPM, because like ideally in ideal conditions, like this tank has 4.8k DPM. Ideal conditions meaning like you're always fighting at 50 meters distance, so you're always getting the maximum damage. Right? So it's definitely gonna be one of those like high skilled base tanks for sure if you want to do good in them. For the average players, I don't think they'll do good in this tank at all. Not at all. So that's why hopefully it's still the test server. Maybe they'll shrink the damage discrepancy based on distance. Who knows? But overall, it's a good tank. It's balanced.